shocked, huh? Well, through the magic of technology, I'm going to be able to control the slides. What?
I will believe that when you see it.
Well, in just a moment you will. Welcome everybody to AndoCon 2018. I mean, we're here. And not only for the people who are here in the room, we are actually live streaming this right now on Facebook.
Nice.
So whoever is out there on Facebook, hello. And of course, and we're also going to be recording this, and this is going to go up on the internet as well later. So basically, it is not just the happy few here in the room that are going to get to experience this. So I'm sure since many of you have, this is far from your first AndoCons in many of your cases, it probably is not going to be a big surprise. But if you are new to AndoCon, the picture that you see here pretty much sums up what AndoCon is. It's a lot of gamers playing games and me right in the middle of a meeting with people. If you can't tell, that's pretty much what I'm good at. So, there you go. See, the magic of technology. Swipe on my phone and there it goes. At least I sure hope. There it goes. That would be the greatest thing. Like, see, it moved. You're like, no.
We would have told you.
Yeah, just keep talking, keep talking. So, for those who perhaps may not be very familiar with AndoCon and wondering what it is, that may be your burning question. Despite the name, I promise you, this is not just a great big massive ego trip. I know it may come off that way, but that's not what it's about. So, what is AndoCon actually? Well, for one thing, during the closing ceremonies of 2015, special guest Kevin Lansing, you may know as the designer of Flashpoint Fire Rescue, said, for me, AndoCon is it. You want to go to a gaming convention in Georgia? That's the bar. So what are we? We're the bar for gaming convention. That's just as simple as it is. So, and if you don't believe me, then go talk to Kevin afterwards, because that's, you know. So we call ourselves a gaming convention plus. You see that on our logos, and we say it all the time. So what does it actually mean to be a gaming convention plus? Well, for one thing, there's an open gaming room. It's right down the hall there. It's got an expansive library, a lot of board games in there. And the simplest way to play a game at AndoCon is to go pick it up off the table and sit down at a table and play.
Chairs.
Yeah, come on in, come on in.
Yep,
There's
chairs.
room. There's chairs. Please do.
I love the idea people want to make it look like standing room only.
Yeah, feel free to sit down. It's good. All right, so as I was saying, open gaming is kind of our primary format and focus. Like I said, there are tables with lots of board games set up over in that room. The simplest thing you can do is go pick up a game and sit on a table with some people and play it. I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what you want, that's what you get. Now, there's more to it than that, of course. We also have an RPG room. And most of those are scheduled events, but again, in the RPG room, if you have an RPG and there's an open table, you can also just go and set up your RPG, get your players, and play. At the end of the day, that's one of the big things that we want to do for people. There's also, though, games that you probably have never heard of, because in addition to the well-known and published designers that we will get to very shortly, there are also a lot of people here who are not very well-known and established, and that is not because they're not good, but just because they are still new. And that, we feel that should not be an obstacle to being recognized at AndoCon. So, even if people have not been widely published or widely known, if you've got a game to demo at AndoCon, we want it. So that also means if you want to try playing games that aren't, widely available, then, we can do that too, because you can just walk through the room and see any number of people who are like, hey, come play my game. It might be handwritten on index cards. I play games like that too. Or it might be, a prototype that's been printed and just hasn't hit Kickstarter yet. Anything in between. So basically, if you want to get a taste of something that maybe will hit the store shelves next year, we can do that for you. Now, there's also special industry guests here, and we are going to go through a nice long list of them in just a minute here. Of course, most of them are game designers, but of course we have a few others as well. Again, we'll get to that in just a moment. We also have a dealer room. It's literally right next door over there. There are 6 tables in there. Feel free at any point to go through there. They've got lots of awesome wares. There's some games in there, and there's also some crafts. We love the local geeky crafting scene, and there's several of them in there. So please, at some point during the weekend, I definitely encourage you to go and check them out and support the local, the local people there as well. Now, we also have panels and tournaments and other special events. Many of them will be here in this very room. There's also a couple of other rooms. Now, I understand that we're still kind of, because we're rushing through getting things started at the beginning, there may not be all the signage up, so just so that in case there's anybody who wants to know where these other couple of rooms are, there is one that's labeled a showcase room. Showcase room, to get to it, you go back out to the lobby, all the way across the lobby, past the elevator, there is a little hallway off to the left. It's kind of a small lobby, or small hall. I don't know why I keep saying lobby. It's kind of a small hallway off to the left, and there is a door off to the right, and that leads into the showcase room. And so some of the events will be there. If you see something is in the private gaming room, that doesn't mean it's a super secret and you have to say swordfish to get into it. All it means is that instead of being over in one of the big crowded rooms that might have more people in it, it just means you've got one small room with a game, and it's just you're in the room and doing the game. As one little preview, that tomorrow during the hours of 12 to 6, that room is going to be home to a really big event for one of the guests we were about to talk to. So,
where's that room? Where's that room?
Oh, sorry. You go across the lobby to the left of the registration desk for the hotel. There is a staircase leading up to the second floor. When you get up to the second floor, it's a nice little sitting area. The room, this is the private gaming room, is right there.
It's also called the Ceremonies room.
Yes, it is the Ceremonies room. All of them should be labeled on the digital panel outside, but just in case it's not, it is the Ceremonies room. So, let's see. I ended up getting back too far. That's when technology is, not the greatest. All right, so special guests this year, and I am excited and overjoyed to be able to tell you that at no AndoCon in the past have we had as many special guests as we do this year. This is a record-breaking AndoCon for special guests, and I don't mean by one. We have blown the lid off of our special guest roster. And this is with 2 guests that had confirmed having to drop out due to illness, and a couple of guests who wanted to join us, but for scheduling reasons, there were conflicts and they were not able to. So even this is not everyone that is interested in being a guest at AndoCon. But while we are on this here, any of the special guests that I call your name, if you're here in the room, definitely stand up and let people recognize you. I am aware our first one here, Sean Patrick Fannin, actually wants to say something to you. So Sean, first off.
He's so sexy.
Being Irish!
As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, I was honored to be a guest in 2016, and I was 420 pounds back then. Not that anymore. I am skinnier now, and you can too. So, so obviously I'm going to brag about this. Freedom Squadron, you're talking about the big event upstairs. Freedom Squadron is a love letter to great action-adventure cartoons and comic books of the 80s, JoJo. So, don't do it, Hasbro. So anyway, very, very proud about this. This is actually the preview Kickstarter page. Now, what's going on here that's very, very special here. I'm just going to set this up here. If you want to see the video, by the way, by all means, go to the page and check it out. It is a rockin' animated video featuring the incredible art of Phil Cho. And it is a Savage Worlds game setting that I'm working on. If you guys know me, you know I did Shine Tower, which is a high fantasy for Savage Worlds. Recently did a little thing a few people liked called Savage Rifts, $500,000 Kickstarter. So they didn't do too bad. So we're kind of hoping that this one's going to do pretty well. We're very excited about it. The buy-in is already pretty extensive. There's an amazing Twitter campaign. I can talk on about that. I'm not going to. I am going to real quick, though, say that I'm really glad that my buddy Michael Knight is here from Spyglass Games. He's going to get a chance to talk too, but we're going to be working together. Chuck Jones is with me here. Tomorrow, noon to 6. Even if you're not signed up to play, by all means, please pop in, take a look. It's going to be a big, he said small room, it's not. It's it is a massive room. We're going to have live streaming going on. I'm going to be in full costume. It's going to be a big event. We want people to come and experience the actual event of it. I have Ando playing, a very interesting character with a bionic arm who's a sniper and maybe Russian. And I've got Eddie Webb, who's very excited about playing a ninja. So he actually insists that the exclamation point is on the end of the ninja. Speaking of ninjas, we'll get to that later. But I did want to say something else. One of the things I was impressed about with AndoCon is it is a leading convention and something that has become extremely important to me. Something that I have been internalizing about my own personal growth, as a human being and as a member of this community, and it's something that I want to advocate, that we will continue the beautiful journey that AndoCon is helping lead the way on, and that is making our culture better. One of the things that we like to think we're amazingly good at in the gaming, in the tabletop gaming culture, board games and role playing and all this, is that we are, you know, oh yeah, we welcome everybody, we love everybody. We still have work to do. On the broadest spectrum, I still read stories from other conventions that read like they're from 1982, where a woman is being told that, oh honey, don't worry about it, we'll handle the mechanics for you. Or, you know, just roll those dice, just do what we tell you. Or people who have a problem with the idea of inclusivity in the art. You know, why are you taking away my barbarian chick in the... We still see this. We don't see it here at AndoCon. And I'm going to brag about that. And I'm also going to encourage that we continue. AndoCon is one of those places where everyone's welcome as long as they welcome everyone else. I'm working very hard on being a better example. You know, you are here because you're a gamer. You're not here because you're here to be ogled at by me or whatever. You're here to be, you know, treated as anything other than a fellow gamer. And I love that culture about this convention. And I just want to say that let us continue to be a shining light in that journey. And I just want to thank Ando for creating the environment in which that is true. So thank you guys very much. I'm very honored to be here. Look forward to hanging out and gaming with you guys.
Kickstarter.
Oh, the Kickstarter starts tomorrow morning or tomorrow noon. Thank you very much. I forgot to say that. The Kickstarter actually launches tomorrow at noon. The game starts at noon. The live stream starts at noon. The Kickstarter launches at noon. We are using this convention as our launch for my most important Kickstarter ever. So thank you guys for that. Yes.
Where can you sign up to be one of the people playing the game?
I think the game is technically full, but come on by. We'll see what we're doing and we'll see if we have space.
Yeah, we will try our best if we can.
Anyone who is welcome to come and at least come and see what's going on. It's going to be an event. It's going to be a game, it's going to be an event. And if I can squeeze people in who want to play, we'll figure it out.
All right, thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Well, as alluded to, although I don't believe he has arrived yet, we also will have Eddie Webb. In particular, one of the things I know that he's excited about is running some Pugmire, which he got blamed for last year when he kickstarted it. So basically, keep your eyes open for that. That's going to be great.
Quick note.
Yes.
He's running Cats and Dogs. It's Pugmire
Yes.
plus Monarchies of Mao. It's playing the
Indeed.
cat characters as well.
Indeed, indeed. You don't want to miss that. All right, and as Sean alluded to, Michael Knight is also good.
Woo!
Just real quick, this is the first con I was invited to as a guest, so I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, woo!
Thank you. Like Sean said, I work for Spyglass Games. Our first game came out last year called Venusaur. It has spawned Freedom Squadron. It's amazing. He's done a huge job with it. Come check it out. If you see me in the hall, the panel room, the game, tap in the short, say hi, let's play some games. I'll play anything. I love meeting new people.
He brought Venom Assault
Yes.
to share. There's a cooperative deck building board game with a dice mechanic, which sounds insane, but it's brilliant.
Sounds awesome.
And
And he's, yeah.
if you want to see it, tomorrow I'll be running 2 sessions where people can play it. Everyone will have a chance to play it to actually win a free copy of it. So come by, check it out, play it. All right.
All right. I am very, very excited to announce for our first time that we have as a special guest, Emmy award-winning designer, Loyola Santa.
I love you.
I love you too. Hey everybody, I'm Aloy, and I am the owner of Third Eye Games, and I've written like 8 or 9 different games that you may or may not have heard of. I am running some of those here this weekend. I'm running Ninja Crusade, where you get to play awesome ninja tackling the Empire. I'm playing, doing Sins of the Father, where you play people who your souls have been sold before you were ever born. That's fun. And I'm also running, for the first time, for the public here at AndoCon, because Ando said, there has to be something special if you're going to attack us. But I actually have my second edition of one of my favorite games called Part-Time Gods that I will be debuting here at AndoCon on Sunday morning. And it's going to be amazing fun. You play a person who becomes a god, and you have to struggle to balance your mortal and your divine sides. and it is such a fun game, and I'm very excited for the second edition that has not hit Kickstarter yet. So again, first time I'm running it in public for anybody, so it should be a lot of fun. So that's Third Eye Game stuff. One of the other things that I have done this year is I started a new company with a couple of other partners called New Agenda Publishing, where our goal right now is we're reaching out to marginalized and underrepresented communities in the gaming industry, and we're trying to breed and mentor more game designers who are women, people of color, people with disabilities, stuff like that. So if you have any questions or anything about that, please feel free to hit me up on that front. We are designing our own game, and we will have an open call for contributors to that very soon. And then as soon as we have that underway, we'll be working with designers and helping them learn how to best publish games in the industry. So I'm super excited. Now I have like 4 companies and designing 11 games at the same time. It's amazing fun. But now this weekend I'm here with you. So kind of like what Michael said, like stop me in the hall if you have any questions, please let me know. And show up to the games, because I would love to run games for everybody here. I love smaller like cons, like I was told that there's like 300-400 people here or something like that.
It'll probably be in the neighborhood of that.
Yeah, so I mean, I love cons like this because I can really get a chance to really like meet each of you and spend some quality time. So please stop me if you see me in the hall and say hi, and I may forget your name, but it'll be okay. I think that's me. That's me. Thank you, everybody.
That intro that I gave Eloy about being the first time guest at AndoCon, we're going to repeat that a few more times. The next one here is also his first time here at AndoCon, Sam Hain.
Hi, Bob Chris Club. Eloy, my players want to kill you because of API.
Oh no.
We had a game session recently and they got knocked around pretty good, and they were a little cranky. Happy but cranky.
You're such a bastard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They said that and a few other things. First aimed at me and then it kind of went downhill. I am a designer for Pathfinder. I work with a stack of third-party companies about like this. Rogue Genius Games, Aloria Games, Green Ronin. I mostly design monsters, so if any of them ever killed any characters, I don't really apologize.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm running a couple demo games this weekend. I've got from Aloria, Silurian Seas, which is an undersea setting with all new races, things like that. Essentially, there is almost no land on the world, so you're playing merfolk, crocodile people, all manner of fish people. It's a pretty good game. It takes the world and twists it on its head. I'm also playing a game that is all character classes from the Rogue Genius game creators. They're all unique. The Death Knight, Dragon Riders, fun things like that. It's a little bit on the advanced side, but last time I ran it, I had a bunch of people that never played Pathfinder before in their life, and they were in horribly over their head, but they had a great time. As a little plug, just for fun, I'm also doing a Clay-orama game, which is where you get a stack of Play-Doh, you make a monster out of it, and try and beat the crap out of everyone else until you're the last one standing. It is a slightly twisted Game of Thrones theme. This will be kind of version 2.0 of it, so some of it's I'm trying out some new stuff with it. So feel free to come squish each other.
Just a guess, are you prepared for the inevitable questions you're going to get about Pathfinder 2nd Edition?
Not really, because they haven't told me anything. One of my direct bosses actually works for them, Owen Stevens, and they really can't give out much anything. All they keep telling me is we'll get the playtest stuff, and I'm like, let me help.
I thought I'd give you a chance to give that disclaimer. So maybe
Yeah, I've already gotten a few questions. I'm kind of dying to know myself. Always the last.
Thank you very much. Next up, a representative for the entire team with Vindicated Entertainment, Vincent Baker. Come on up here. Also, first time.
Hello, thank you for having me, and of course, it's been awesome. So yeah, I'm Vincent Baker, founder of Vindicated Entertainment, Started a tabletop RPG some odd years ago. Basically, it sprung from my kid fantasy of like, I think when we were all kids, we ran around with sticks and pretend like we're knights or whatever type of warriors we were and fought off imaginary creatures. So I actually started building the bricks of this game when I was a little kid, and then I had to revise that over and over as I became more of an adult. I was like, man, this game's kind of mechanically garbage, but at least it's the fun that matters. But we ended up fixing that and stuff, and that's Otherworlds. That's my tabletop RPG. We've got some things on the Vindicator Entertainment website for that game. It's like science fantasy, so I'm a huge fan of fantasy adventures, but I wanted to throw in some tech, and there's some more reasons why that's the case. Last year I did my first Kickstarter. It's for a card game called Spellslingers. It's a fast, easy to play card game. I wanted it to be a game that I could basically play with anyone, anytime, anywhere. So all you need is one deck of cards. You don't need to set out multiple decks. You don't need dice and counters and all that stuff. I like all that stuff, but this game I wanted to be made precisely for that purpose. So I could sit down with my grandparents, play with them. It's a great bridge between veteran gamers and people that love strategy like myself. You know, the bridge with people that don't understand any of that stuff. So that's been a lot of fun. If you guys are interested in playing something like that, the games only take a few minutes per player. So a game of 2 people would only take a few minutes. And we're just doing pickup games the whole time. If you see me or anyone else wearing a Spellslingers t-shirt, we're more than happy to just play a quick game with you guys, tell you what it's all about, and get more in depth with that. I'm also currently at the tail end of a Kickstarter this year. It is called A Damn Shame with a D-A-M. It's for Otherworlds, and it delves more into the sci-fi aspects and one of the more technologically advanced worlds, and that's been a lot of fun. I think that and we're also doing 2 YouTube series that we're cranking out this year, so I'm really excited about that. We're doing like head-to-head gaming events, we're doing some discussions about tabletop gaming, all that fun stuff, and we're looking at different ideas and where we could go with that. But we're huge into like just anything entertainment-wise and tabletop gaming, and so we're just having a lot of fun with it. Hope to talk to you guys soon, and today and tomorrow and stuff. So thank you.
I don't believe he's in this room, and actually not a first timer for a first one for in a while here. But Kevin Lansing, I alluded to him before. I popped a quote from him up here on the slide. Those of you who've been Those of you who have been to AndoCon before probably know Kevin. He's local to the area. He's a great guy. He's got a lot of wonderful games. If you see him in the game room at any point, please play some of his games. They are a lot of fun. Also not in the room at the moment is Jason Stone. Jason Stone's been with AndoCon since the beginning as well. It's her first year as a special featured guest like this, but he's got quite a long list of games that he has run. He's got a lot of great games, so please also play games of his that you see in the game room. Let's see, is Dave in here? Dave Lupo of New World Alchemy is here as well. I don't believe he's in here at the moment, but he's going to be running some sessions of his newest game that is, I believe, going to hit Kickstarter very soon, called Yokai. I've played this game in its early stages, and it is a lot of fun. I can very, very much firsthand vouch for this one being a great game. So again, stop by Dave's table. I know he's got some table signs up, and ask to play his games. I promise they are wonderful. Also, from Nerdburger Games, Craig Campbell.
A couple of years ago, I used AndoCon as the kickoff, the countdown to the Kickstarter for Murders and Acquisitions, which is my first RPG that was successful and funded. You can buy it and play it,
And you should.
And hate it, or whatever, however you want to feel about it. I am following in the footsteps of many Kickstarter people here. I am on day 4 of the Kickstarter for Capers, which is a game of an RPG of superpowered gangsters in the Roaring '20s. Funded in the first 6 hours.
6 hours.
Roughly $100 from the second stretch goal right now as we talk. And I'm going to be running that. I got that last time I checked, a couple spots open for 9 to 1 tomorrow for Capers, for kind of a unique thing. It's going to also involve Owen, who is my graphic designer for the game. So he'll be co-GMing, doing some stuff with that. And then I'm also running, I've got another game coming up called Die Laughing, which is a horror comedy story game, no GM, very quick, very easy. That one's filled up. But it's also a short play kind of thing, so it's something that I could demo easily if people come and find me. particularly today or Sunday are my very open days. I'm very scheduled up on Saturday. We can sit down, if you bring a few people to the table, we can find a table, sit down, we can play some little bit of capers or a little bit of dialapping. I'm with Mike, my friend and podcast partner and layout guy, and cartographer. That's you.
Mike, stand up too.
Just wave to the crowd, Mike. Tomorrow from 3 to 5 in this room.
Yes, this room, right here.
For a recording of the Nerdburger podcast, where we will have a variety of guests and maybe even some of the attendees who can come onto the mic and proclaim your geekiness, and we'll put it on the internet forever. And
Remember,
there will be giveaways. So, and there will be audience participation and all sorts of fun stuff. So that's Nerdburger Games and me.
If you've not looked at the Capers game, I highly encourage you to. It is difficult to come up with something that has a sense of really unique value and quality. This one does a really cool mashup, and I'm really excited about seeing this game.
Next up,
Put that on the back of the book.
Next up for their second year at AndoCon, Silly Kid Games.
Hello, everybody. So, well, first of all, thank you. So this is our second time. The first time we were here, we were one of the people you described at the beginning. We literally showed up with, like, printed from our HP printer, subbed into sleeves, original prototype of Golem Academy. It went on to be successfully funded and sent to everybody, and now we're back here today with a much higher quality prototype for the second edition. It features new characters, new mechanics, updated rules, and we're getting ready for our Kickstarter in April for that. So please come by. We'll be in the gaming room. Come by and see us. My teammates and best friends are here. They've been with me since the beginning. Josh and Daniel. Truly is an inclusive event. So I think my email to you was like, hey, we got this thing. Can we just sit down and play it?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. Just goes to show how easy it is to get stuff going at AndoCon. All you have to do is, have a game. I mean, that's that easy.
That's all you have.
Yeah, all you gotta do. Like I'm the expert at that.
Barely.
Anyway, I don't believe that they have made it in yet. I know they're on their way, but we also have Empire Games joining us. They were actually in the dealer room last year, but I got the opportunity to play the game that they were promoting, which is a great little party game called I Drank What? It is a lot of fun. I cannot possibly pump this game enough. I know they'll be along at some point. Please find them. Please play I Drank What? It is so much fun. Basically, it's about being in a wine tasting party, but everybody hates each other and is trying to poison each other. And so it's kind of like trying to make sure you don't end up getting poisoned. And it's a lot of fun. So please give that one a shot. We also have Derek Kamal for his second time at AndoCon. I do not believe Derek is in the room with us at the moment. But again, he was a guest last year with us, promoting his game, The Dig, which is a dwarf RPG. I am not 100%, oh wait, sorry, I am. He just, earlier this year, or actually late last year, successfully kickstarted Heavy Metal Thunder Mouse. That I know it's a great game for that. That actually just got released like yesterday. I was just getting the PDF code for that yesterday. So
Finished Kickstarter to fulfillment in 4 months.
that's pretty insane. that's insane. So again, find Derek. His games are great. Please give him some love as well. Next up, we have again for another returning guest, Chris Miller.
So last year, I kickstarted my very first RPG called AndoCon, Kingdom of the Gods, here at AndoCon, or was it the year before that?
Well, it was 2016.
Yes, the last AndoCon. But it was successful. It's since been published. It's available at Barnes & Noble. Cool bookstores like that. So it's like a real thing. But since then, I'm actually launching a Kickstarter right now, and it's for an expansion set to the game. AndoCon was it's set basically 25,000 years, in the past, and based on Sumerian mythology and ancient aliens theory and all that stuff. And it deals primarily with the Middle East. So the new book coming out is going to deal with Africa in particular, the the continent is called Malwazi, and it details all the new creatures and playable races and weapons and different city-states and things like that. I also came out with a card game not too long ago called Collusion. It's a political satire game where you get to vie for the presidential seat. You can guess what that's about. But I will be doing a demo of that tonight from 9 to 12. And that's about it. So, thank you very much. Thank you.
Near the end of the list here, and to me, this is one of my favorite parts of opening ceremonies, is getting to hear what all the guests are bringing to the table. I do not believe you're in the room, but Fernando Aragon is his first time guest here at the AndoCon. He actually is a relatively newcomer to the game design scene, but he's got some really interesting stuff going on. I'm not as familiar with his as I would like to be, so please do seek him out. He'll be around the game room throughout the weekend. And finally, if you are an AndoCon veteran and have been to any AndoCon since 2014, you definitely have probably seen these people before. So American Whammy Productions, will you please enter and sign in? Stole their thunder.
Well played, well played.
I had to.
So they said a few minutes ago that you have to have a game to do anything in AndoCon. No, you don't even need a game. You
just need to recreate them.
You can have a game show, and that gets you in the door.
You can get stuff too.
So most of you probably remember us as Florida Whammy. Since the last AndoCon happened, we have done some restructuring, and we are now a nonprofit and have changed our name to...
Because we're in Georgia more than Florida.
We're here more than we are at home. So, American Whammy. We got some stuff going on this weekend. Somebody will tell me what I'm doing eventually.
We got Pressure Luck, which is the big strategy game, and we have a brand new board to lay out this time. We've got some new features in the program. Super secret right now. Even to this guy.
Yeah, this is why I'm giving the blank stare.
Hue, which is probably the fastest played game show that takes longer to explain than actually play. Classic from 1979 that we brought back from the grave. And Match Game. And if you've seen the Match Game,
we're hoping that we can, steal Ando and a couple of you wonderful celebrity folks.
You know I love Magic.
Tonight at 6. I know there's like that important thing where people will be drinking or possibly or things, and I don't know, but we'll also have booze. That's all I'm saying.
well, it's Match Game.
It's Match Game. You've got to.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. We no Kickstarters or anything like that for us. I mean, we'll gladly take your money, and it's a tax deductible contribution.
But
we're
glad to be back. We just literally got off.
Yeah, we don't even have our badges or anything, and I'm still kind of shell-shocked from the traffic. Oh dear God. 285 can
You think Orlando's
go blank itself.
So, see you later.
I'm serious, guys. If you have any time during in your weekend when they are running game shows, which I promise you want to be part of them. I love these games. What's up? Where are those from? There are some that are going to be in here. I think did we end up with the schedule is going to have that on it. We are working on the schedule.
All I know for sure, 100%, is there's a match game at 6 p.m. tonight. I don't know where it is.
We will talk
I don't even know who's on the panel.
We will talk about this after the opening ceremonies.
Well, I know that's happening.
You have now heard from the guests that we have in here. So, perhaps a less burning question for you, other than what is AndoCon, is perhaps why AndoCon, and by that I don't mean like why is it called that? I mean, why do I do it? What do I get out of running AndoCon? Do I make money off of this? No. Start that off. I don't make money off this. So why do I do what I do? Well, I love gaming. I've always loved gaming. Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved playing board games. And of course, once I got into college and hit some of those gateway games of like Apples to Apples, Shaggy, Munchkin, all the usual ones people play in college, it got to be, a big thing for me, and it's just kind of one of the things that led to AndoCon. I also really love being part of the game design process. It was early on, I didn't really have much of that, but once I started AndoCon, I started to get involved more with game designers, and I found that I really love game designers. And I love being able to see these new games as they're coming into fruition. Since he's not here, I'm going to go ahead and tell him on this one. Dave Lupo was so gracious as to allow Katie May and I to be in literally the first ever time that his successfully Kickstarter game, Addictive Alchemy, hit the table. It was literally handwritten on little cards, and he just came to our house, and the three of us just sat and played it. First time ever it hit the table. And that I think was one of the defining moments for me, that I want to be part of this, like, forever. So that's kind of why I make such a big deal about bringing in the designers to show their games, because that means a lot to me, and I mean, call it projection, but I'm kind of hoping that it can at least mean something to you as well. Also, of course, there are a lot of other conventions in Atlanta. Some of them include a lot of gaming. They're quite frankly a little bit, for me at least, bear in mind this is only speaking for myself, a little bit too expensive for what I get out of them.
As a professional designer who makes a living at this, they're too expensive for me too. So
I mean, I'm not trying, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to diss any of the other conventions. It's just for me personally, what I actually enjoy doing at a convention, I don't really get anywhere else. And so, what's still saying about if you want something done right, do it yourself? So, I mean, that's a big part of why AndoCon even exists. Like I said, there's a lot of people, when you think about gaming conventions in Atlanta, some people throw out names like DragonCon and MomoCon because they do have large, very large gaming areas. But at the end of the day, that's still not their focus. DragonCon is a fandom convention, sci-fi, geeky, whatever the case may be. MomoCon is largely anime, comics, and yes, they have gaming, but again, it's not the primary focus. And so that is one of the reasons that I thought it was very important for me to be able to offer something that is, it's not literally unique, but I'd like to think my flavor of it is unique. Because yes, there are other gaming-focused conventions in the area, but, like I mentioned about the open gaming focus where people just go pick up a game from the table, sit down and play it. It's pretty much almost the entirety of other gaming conventions, but as you've already seen, I do like to push that just a little bit further. And that is the support for the local game design community and things like game shows. These are some of the things that I really enjoy adding to the experience of open gaming. So if you are not familiar with AndoCon already, then this may be new to you. Some of you who have already heard opening ceremonies maybe can kind of fall asleep at this point. I'm going to be a lot more succinct than I have in past years. So a brief history of AndoCon, where we've been. First off, our public debut year was 2013. And at the time, we were expecting, I think I was expecting anywhere between 30 and 50 people to show up. I said if I hit 70 people, I was going to dance for joy. We had over 200. That blew me away. It also blew away the small little conference center in Kennesaw where we were trying to hold it, and it just kind of spilled out all over everywhere. We're like, well, obviously we need to do something bigger next year. So thus, we got into 2014 at the Perimeter Marriott. We really, and we quickly started attracting the local game designer attention. Dave Lupo, I keep coming back to him, but he was one of the first ones that I got introduced to in that area, but very quickly started meeting some of the other people. And that, it's kind of become a close-knit bond at this point. A lot of the game designers know each other and help each other out, and so this situation, this weekend where we can all get together creates an environment where we can, be a close-knit community. By our second year, we already had to find a bigger venue, as I mentioned, and the convention growth and enthusiasm has, that led up to 2016, which no matter how you slice it, whether you look at objective numbers or subjective emotional reaction or just, opinions even, 2016 was the best year that we had at that point. Had the highest attendance, we had 314 people, which is awesome, just a pie.
Speaking of pie.
Yeah, that was 2015, I'm not getting into the pie incident. 2016, we had 314 people there. We had the most amount of fun, it was a great year. And then riding off the high of 2016, I had some personal revelations and went through a period of some difficult times, and I had to actually call off 2017's AndoCon event. And some of you who've known about AndoCon for a while know that that happened and know that that was for some personal reasons. I honestly kind of thought it may not even be missed that much. In fact, part of me wondered if I called it off in 2017, would there be another one? But what surprised me was that people actually missed it. I've gotten several different direct questions to me even before I said AndoCon 2018 was even happening, when it was still just, I don't even know. People were saying, hey, are you going to come back and do AndoCon again? Because I'd really like to see it come back. I have people asking game shops that don't even know me, that, asking them, when are you coming back? And ever since I announced that we were coming back, I've had lots of people say, hey, we missed you last year. We're glad that you're back. So obviously there's something that we're doing right. And so we decided that in order to make sure that we weren't going to, start and immediately sputter out, we ourselves did a Kickstarter for our 2018 event, and we funded and hit our first stretch goal, which is one of the big reasons why Sean is even here this year. So obviously you can tell it was a successful event, the Kickstarter, because you're here. It happened. We're here. AndoCon 2018 is a thing. So that's where we've been. So before I take this into the final portion of opening ceremonies, I want to give you guys a chance. If you have any questions about AndoCon or me or anything like that, if you want to ask anything, feel free to go ahead and do so. Anybody have any questions? What's up, Charlie?
How can I have a cool beard like yours?
I mean, you just kind of have to be born with the right genes, I guess, and then stop shaving for like 6 months,
And then go see Ellen Grzwinski in Woodstock, who dyes our hair and is fabulous.
And
you need to send me that information. Yes, she will be here this weekend.
Yes.
We'll get to meet her.
How late is the hot tub open?
11 o'clock p.m. I asked about that
There's a
last
hot
night.
Wait,
There is a hot tub there. Hey, I asked at 2 o'clock in the morning last night because we were stressed, and I was like, I want to go to relax in the hot tub, and they're like, it closes at 11.
Hey, I just got out of the car for 9 hours, so.
You should
What
get
what can we do to have it open later?
Beg. I don't know. I haven't actually asked. We'll find out if we have to.
Be in the hot tub at 11 and refuse to get out.
I mean, that's AndoCon cannot officially condone such behavior. Mike, we got this.
Now that everyone knows that the hot tub exists, is anyone going to use it?
I'm Kickstarter launching tomorrow. You damn right I'm using it.
You know, party like an SBF party, because an SBF party's in the hot tub.
Wow.
Is that a freedom fact, Sean?
That is a freedom fact.
I like it. Any other questions? All right. Now, a lot of times when you see, presentations and they ask for questions, that signals the end of it. It's not quite the end of it here. I've got one last note that I want to make, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a heads up ahead of time. This is going to get a little emotional on my part. I'm probably going to cry a little bit. Please just be patient with me. Those of you who know AndoCon for a while, or at least have seen our website, know that we spatter everywhere this great big slogan, I am Ando, and so can you. And of course, other than being slightly, being slightly goofy and kind of fun, you may wonder, what do I actually mean when I say that? Because obviously it's Ando. That's my name, but there's more to it than that, obviously, because why else would I say, and so can you? And in past years at opening ceremonies, I have given some explanations of that and talked about, being a gamer geek and, enjoying playing games and all this kind of stuff, and that's kind of sufficed in the past. But as I said, in between 2016 and now, some things came to light for me, and it kind of helped me recontextualize something very important. So, as gamers, as Sean was saying earlier, there's a lot of different backgrounds that we come from. There's people that, from things that we can control, choices that we make in our lives, like religious or political affiliations, their food, or pets, or game preferences. Then there's things that we can't really control, like our skin color, our sex, our orientation, sexuality or lack thereof, gender identity. And then there are things that can affect us inside. Depression, anxiety, bipolar, ADHD, autism, any of these things. So what I found out early last year is that I managed to make it over 30 years of my life and did not know until last year that I'm on the autism spectrum. Now, autism is one of those things that's not heavily understood. A lot of people just think that that just means little kids that sit in the corner and rock back and forth and scream if you touch them. And that's not what it really means. It's an entire spectrum, and there's lots of different things that can affect people in different ways and to varying strengths. And having my eyes open to that by having to find that out about myself really kind of shed light on not only autism, but of course all the other things that can be with people as well. And what you really can't do when these things face you like this is just sort of accept defeat and say, wow, it really beat me down, I guess I'm done. Because, I mean, finding out that I'm autistic doesn't necessarily, mean that I should just, keep treating my life as the same as it was, because obviously I didn't know before. So what you really have to do is to learn to accept it and to embrace it. When I first got the inkling that I might be on the spectrum, I fought it. I fought it hard. I was angry. I was hurt. And I tried to deny it and say, this cannot possibly be me. But it is me. And once I came to that, it really kind of changed my life. Because recognizing that I'm on the autism spectrum doesn't actually change who I am, because that's been the case my entire life. It's just I didn't know it. All it does is it helps define me. And it kind of showed me that all of the labels that we have put on us or we put on ourselves, these labels may define aspects of us, but at the end of the day, what we really have, what we really are, is all of those labels and then some. And so what really started coming into focus for me at that point is that by saying, I am Ando, I'm accepting the things about myself that I can't change and the things that just make me who I am. I am depression. I am anxiety. I am autism. But I am Ando. And so when I say so can you, what I mean is you can make the choice too. You can make the choice to accept who you are and accept the people around you for who they are as well. Because that's the other thing that comes with self-awareness and self-acceptance, is realizing that if you are who you are, and that is okay, and you accept yourself, well, the person sitting next to you is also a person. And all of those labels that you accept about yourself, they've got their set of labels too. And they may not quite have accepted that about themselves, because some of these labels are really difficult to deal with, especially the ones that don't get a lot of social support these days. And of course, in our current culture, we've got a whole lot of awareness starting to crop up. And that's one of the best things that I think has happened in our society forever, is recognizing that these things that define us don't make us bad people, and that these things don't make us different or less than human. We are all the same on this planet. We're all just trying to survive and make our way. We've all got lives, we've all got loves, we've all got hopes and dreams, aspirations for the future. All of us here are here at AndoCon because we're sharing the common thread of gaming, and there's a lot of people that share that too. But even that is not all of the whole picture. But at least for this weekend, when you go into a gaming room and you're sitting down with a game designer or a bunch of people, whether you know them already or not, think about this. Think about how, as much as you have your own lives and your own loves and your dreams, they all have their own lives and loves and dreams and hopes too. And so, what does it mean then to say I am Ando and so can you? It means I accept who and what I am. And so now, I challenge you to be Ando as well. And so, to go out and enjoy AndoCon 2018, and maybe hug a few necks while you're out there. Have a great weekend.
Game on!